Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
General Hospital spoilers reveal Anna Devane has been locked up for weeks with little indication as to who's holding her interned or why. By now, she'd have anticipated commodity would have occurred that gave her sapience into her prisoner's motives. Rather, they're keeping her on the reverse burner, and she has no idea if that's because there are plans for her down the line, or because her kidnapper intends to sluggishly drive her frenetic. It could be both. Anyhow, the present of feathers that she entered this week was maddening all on its own, and it left us with further questions than answers. But the biggest knob of curiosity on our minds must be who's lurking behind Pascal if it's not Jen Sidwell. But it could be Sidwell while Pascal is keeping it cool under pressure. Anna is refusing to engage, which I'd anticipate from a former WSB agent who has been held interned numerous times ahead. As she attempts to break the riddle of who has locked her up and why, she may only grow more uncomfortable and alarmed the closer she gets to that truth. However, I'm eager to learn how he came so interested in and connected to Caesar Faison, if it's Sidwell orchestrating all of this. Spoilers tease Sidwell may be someone differently entirely. When Anna unmasked the book taped to the bottom of her food charger, she was beyond startled. A book decorated with her face and named The Crystallized Conspiracy by P.K. Sinclair shook her to her core. Outside, and necrology reading, for my poet, C. It might feel short and to the point, but that was all that was necessary to shoot Anna twisting into shock and unbelief. She doesn't want to believe this. 4 months since Britt Westbourne and Nathan West returned to City, not dead, she has wondered whether Faison could ever be operating posthumously, be it via himself or someone differently. While Sidwell could be carrying out Faison's precarious exploration, occasionally I suppose Sidwell could also be Faison. Can we say mind mapping? Or it could be a Faison family foe, of course. The most likely script then's that just like his son, Faison ever survived Jason Morgan's contended fatal projectile. Since this is a cleaner pieces, it's also possible that Britt and Nathan aren't Britt and Nathan but duplicates of them, and Faison could return in analogous fashion. That being said, if Anna's prisoner is one of her real-life adversaries back from the dead, it stands to reason that it could be Caesar, but could also be Heinrich Faison, aka Peter August. Which are you hoping to see again? Port Charles has weathered assassins, imposters, secret twins, and fake deaths, but nothing could have prepared Anna Devane for the truth that crashes into her life like a gunshot in the dark. Just when she believed the worst chapter of her past was finally buried, the past claws its way back from the grave. This time, it isn't subtle. It isn't quiet. And it certainly isn't finished. Because Caesar Faison is alive. And even more chilling, he has been hiding in plain sight, concealed behind the face of Sidwell, using a mask, a manufactured identity, and a carefully crafted illusion to infiltrate Port Charles once again. What begins as a moment of spiritual renewal, a baptism meant to symbolize rebirth and peace, rapidly transforms into something far more ominous. A reckoning. A resurrection. A declaration of war. The ceremony was supposed to be quiet. Sacred. A turning point filled with hope and healing. Family gathered close, whispers softened, and hearts opened in the belief that something pure was beginning. For Anna, the moment stirred conflicting emotions. She had seen too much darkness in her life to ever fully trust peace, yet even she allowed herself to breathe. But fate had other plans. As the water touched flesh and prayers echoed through the space, Anna felt it, the unmistakable chill that crawls up her spine when danger is near. Years of espionage had trained her instincts well, and they were screaming now. This baptism wasn't just a symbol of rebirth. It was a signal. A baptism doesn't only wash away sins. Sometimes, it revives monsters. It starts with fragments, details that don't align. A voice that sounds wrong. A posture too familiar. A way of watching others that feels predatory rather than curious. Anna notices Sidwell lingering too long, asking questions he shouldn't know to ask, reacting to names from the past with barely disguised interest. Her mind races. She has chased ghosts before. She has buried Faison before. But the dead don't usually leave fingerprints. A single glance becomes a spiral of realization. Anna remembers the masks. The disguises. The countless times Faison evaded justice by becoming someone else. He didn't just fake deaths, he perfected them. And suddenly, the truth slams into her with brutal clarity. Sidwell isn't Sidwell at all. Anna's hands tremble as memories flood back, cold cells, psychological warfare, whispered threats delivered with a smile. Faison always enjoyed the reveal. The moment when his victims realized he had been 10 steps ahead the entire time. And now, history is repeating itself. The mask wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Sidwell's charm, his carefully constructed persona, his calculated kindness, all tools. All lies. Beneath it all lurked the same man who destroyed lives for sport. Caesar Faison survived. And he chose Port Charles as his hunting ground once more. When Anna finally confides in someone she trusts, the reaction is immediate disbelief followed by dawning horror. They want to comfort her, to tell her she's imagining things, that trauma has sharpened her paranoia. But Anna knows the difference between fear and certainty. Still, she needs strength now. Encouraging words surround her, reminders that she has beaten Faison before. That she is stronger now. That she is no longer alone. Friends urge her to trust herself, to stay focused, to remember that she survived once and can survive again. Yet encouragement only goes so far when evil wears a familiar face. Because this time, Faison isn't just stalking Anna. He's embedded himself into the fabric of Port Charles. Once Anna starts digging, the retaliation is swift. Phones go silent. Doors are left unlocked. Messages arrive without signatures. Warnings. Faison doesn't need to announce himself. His presence is the threat. When Anna pushes too close to the truth, Sidwell's demeanor shifts. The kindness evaporates. The mask slips, just for a second, and she sees it. That unmistakable glint of cruelty. The satisfaction of being discovered. You always were clever, Anna, he sneers, voice low and venomous. The threat isn't shouted. It's whispered. And that makes it far more dangerous. As Anna races to expose the truth, the danger spreads. Innocent lives are suddenly in jeopardy. Those closest to Anna become targets, used as leverage, bait, or collateral damage. Faison doesn't just want revenge. He wants dominance. He wants Anna to know he won. The baptism that once symbolized renewal now feels like a grim prophecy. A cleansing fire is coming, and Port Charles will be forced to reckon with sins long thought erased. No one is safe, not law enforcement, not families, not lovers. When the truth finally comes out, that Sidwell was nothing more than a carefully engineered shell, it detonates across Port Charles like a bomb. Shock turns to panic. Panic turns to fury. How long has Faison been watching? Who has he manipulated? And how many tragedies were part of his grand design? Anna is left standing at the center of it all, haunted yet resolute. She refuses to run. She refuses to hide. If Faison wants a reckoning, she'll give him one. But even Anna knows this battle will demand sacrifices. With Faison alive and exposed, the stakes skyrocket. His survival means unfinished business, dark alliances, revenge plots, and devastating consequences still waiting to unfold. The baptism may have begun as a moment of peace, but it has transformed into something else entirely. A warning. A rebirth of terror. And the beginning of a war that could consume Port Charles. One thing is certain. When Caesar Faison removes the mask, no one escapes unchanged. General Hospital spoilers and updates tease there's one person that's not on anyone's radar to have been the shooter of Drew Kane. Could Brad Cooper have returned to Port Charles much earlier than anyone allowed? And have been the bone? Who shot Drew? Selena's whoreson may not be a toughie like her, but he's married his show share of crimes. Selena Wu's whoreson might not be a toughie in the same tone as his auntie, but he clearly has a character for engaging in a multitude of felonious conditioning. Brad has a lengthy background filled with dubious deeds. Thus, when Selena mentioned to Curtis Ashford that she'd find someone to carry out the task, it's quite possible that Selena was pertaining to her whoreson Brad. She confidently stated, "I've the perfect person for the job. Is it possible that Brad is indeed that individual?" Brad formerly poisoned Peter August. Working under Selena's orders, she'd made a deal with Sonny Corinthos to have Peter killed. And we can't forget that he was the bone who stole the ketamine to medicine Drew with, although Portia Robinson blackmailed him to do so. Who tried to kill Drew Kane? As the plot of Who Shot Drew Kane continues to develop, suckers of General Hospital are buzzing with propositions about which of his adversaries might have wished him detriment. Sorely for Drew, there are multitudinous residers of Port Charles who would find their lives significantly bettered if he weren't causing chaos, particularly in his part as congressman. It's clear that Curtis had a strong motive to want him gone. The identity of the shooter seems to oscillate primarily between Willow Tate and Michael Corinthos. Nonetheless, other implicit suspects have also surfaced, including Stella Henry, Scout Kane, Brad, and indeed the late Monica Quartermain. Did Brad go rogue and shoot Drew? The PCPD had its reservations about Curtis until they uncovered more concrete substantiation entwining Willow. Indeed, though he'd placed a mega hit on Drew, Curtis has managed to shirk any blame. Also, Curtis asserted that he'd called off the hit, at least that's what he claimed. However, he successfully interposed before Selena could complete her charge. Curtis simply couldn't bring himself to carry out the act of murder, indeed if it meant targeting Drew, if that's true. In the meantime, another existent was contriving a plan to exclude Congressman Cutthroat. Could it be that Brad has gone off the rails and taken a shot at Drew? General Hospital spoilers tease that part of living in Port Charles involves rolling with the punches. As circumstances change, so do numerous residers. Occasionally these changes are for the better, but occasionally they're not. In the case of Harrison Chase, he's turning into a character that suckers slightly fate presently. And it's all because of Willow Tate. Harrison Chase and Willow Tate were formerly in love. Many times agone. Chase and Willow were happy and in love. But also Chase offered their love so that Willow could marry Michael Corinthos. Still, also Michael had a better shot at winning guardianship of his son, Wiley Corinthos, if Michael and Willow were married. Their plan worked, but nearly along the line Michael and Willow fell in love. Chase was agonized at first, but he ultimately set up love with Brooklyn Quartermain. But through it all, Willow and Chase remained musketeers. Willow Tate cheated on Michael Corinthos. Ultimately, Willow started an affair with Michael's uncle Drew Kane. Once the affair was exposed, Willow and Michael fought plaintively over guardianship of their children. Willow putatively had a breakdown, and during this time, she charged with shooting Drew and leaving him to die. While it's still not clear exactly who shot Drew, Chase has made it a precedence to find the substantiation demanded to clear his former nut. But numerous suckers are furious with Chase for his devotion to Willow. Harrison Chase is putting Willow Tate over his own woman. Chase and Brooke Lynn have stood by each other through so numerous trials and agonies. But Chase's amenability to put his whole career on the line for a woman who isn't his woman is sluggishly causing disunion between them. Chase refuses to see Willow as anything but perfect, and it's sluggishly tearing his marriage piecemeal. Chase is likely going to lose everything for a woman who has no way formally put him first. Meanwhile, his own woman has asked him several times to back off Willow's case. But Chase refuses to do so, and it's ruining his chances at a happy wedded life. What do you suppose? Will Brooke Lynn stay with Chase indeed, though he keeps putting Willow first? Would you prefer Willow and Chase reunite? Did Willow really try to kill Drew? Anything can be in Port Charles, so stay tuned to General Hospital Raising weekdays on ABC.